Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Witness and I'm your host Quatrina Hossain. Once again, floods are destroying our people, our lands, our crops, our villages. This time round, the disaster is predominantly contained to the southern province of Sindh. But the disaster, rainwater and floods have caused there is on a catastrophical stage. 218 people are dead, more than 500 injured, 5.3 million people homeless. They have been impacted by the steadily rising flood waters. This time round, again, the monsoon has wreaked havoc. Thousands of villages have been inundated. People have lost their homes, crops, cattle, and unfortunately, disease is breaking out. Gastroenteritis, amongst others, has already claimed several lives in the areas of Badin, Thatta, and predominantly along the coastal areas of Sindh, but Hyderabad, Rajankot, and various other villages have also been affected. Now, the tragedy of this whole situation is that we had barely recovered from last year's devastating, disastrous floods that had impacted more than half the country, starting in Swat and all the way down to Sindh and Balochistan. This time round, it is slightly different. Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Swat have escaped the brunt of the disaster, but Sindh, unfortunately, has been heavily impacted. We don't know exactly why, but we do know that the monsoon rains in Sindh have been far higher than previously recorded. Well, joining me here in the studio to discuss what happened, what is happening, and what needs to be done. In the studio with me, Senator retired Dilawar Abbas, representing the Pakistan Muslim League Q. Joining me from Lahore, Syed Zaeem Qadri, a leader of the Pakistan Muslim League N. And joining me on the telephone will be Nawab Yousaf Talpur, who is an MNA from the Pakistan People's Party, whose constituency is one of those that is completely flooded, and Nawab Yousaf Talpur has been working in his area and areas around that, including Umarkot. And Umarkot, of course, is also seriously devastated here. And I will actually begin right here with you, Senator. The situation that we're seeing now again seems to have caught us off guard and unaware. Why is that? Sorry, Mr. Qadri, stay with me. The question is to Senator Dilawar Abbas, and then I'll come to you.
This is very unfortunate that we just get scot-free with this, that we were unguarded, we were unaware, we were not prepared. I think even with the meager resources, you can, with the better planning and good management, can counter the disasters, such disasters. And I think Government of Sindh should have been prepared, and rather well prepared. Actually, you don't need to do much except for the gearing up of your management when you have to beat such disasters. You know these monsoons are coming, and that sort of weather predictions are always available.
And the prediction was for excessive monsoon rain this year.
You can have a team which can start mobilizing your government agencies, your NGOs, your international agencies, and the volunteers, which should be a preparation. And I think it could have been done even at no cost.
But why hasn't it been done?
Unfortunately, our governments get boggled with so many other problems that every issue which comes, whether it's a small or big one, it comes on their heads like a heavy stone hitting something. So they start moving all their efforts into those directions instead of preparing. I think this should have been totally a separate system under which the preparation should have been done and could have been done. You have your MPAs, you have your MNAs, you have the people in the local areas who are, now you see our speaker was there last evening in Badin talking to the press. You told about Yousaf Talpur Saab, MNA sitting there.
And Amir Maksi and a few others, Zulfikar Mirza himself.
Yeah. But these people should have been much more prepared to meet, because they know, as you have seen, that these devastating rains, relentless rains and heavy pours have not only affected, now the Karachi is very badly hit,
and Hyderabad,
then Hyderabad, then Latifabad, then Mitiari, Badin, Sangar, Nawab Shah, all these areas. And I think you could have very well moved certain teams over. And
well, this is the tragedy. For example, let's get Mr. Zaeem Qadri into the conversation here as well. Mr. Qadri, one of the things that I found so painful when I read about it, that villagers complaining that they were told evacuate your village but weren't given any way to do it. No government convoys pulling in to rescue people, no boats being brought in. Just telling people to evacuate from a village, telling them that they're going to be flooded out and not helping them escape is, to me, cruel beyond measure.
To an extent, Quatrina, what I heard is that they were not even given due advantages to do that. They were not even told where to go. So initially I would certainly vouch what Senator Saab has just said. But let me tell you, catastrophes do happen. It is the way how the governments respond, when and how quickly. Because if you get late, the quantum of the catastrophe increases so much that the available resources would not be able to cope up with the situation there. Now, there is a disaster management authority. Where were they? Why weren't they watching the climate? Didn't they know that there was the system was telling that it's going to be 180% more rains than last year? Now everybody knows, it's on media. So my concern is that the people sitting in disaster management authority, why didn't they know that this is going to happen in 2 weeks' time? This is a very serious concern. Although I would not say that somebody can stop catastrophes. Certainly, nobody can. But certainly you should be geared up. The Disaster Management Authority should be brought to task over this. That why didn't you initially decide what to do and what not to do? They didn't know that what the Metallurgy Center was telling them another 2 weeks down the road. So these are things which bugs you, and you after all these discussions, you say that, oh, you are an underdeveloped country. I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. We've been told by the metallurgy that this is going to happen. Why we didn't respond? Why couldn't we coop up? This is a very serious question. And the quantum is...
And especially given the fact that these floods have followed on the heels of the floods last year, one would have thought one had learned something. Yes. In that. Do we have Nawab Yousaf Talpur on the line with us yet?
Excuse me.
Okay, Nawab Talpur, welcome to the program. Nawab Talpur, what's going on there? Now you are, I think, in Umarkot right now, if I'm not mistaken?
That's right, not in Umarkot, I'm in Umarkot district right now. I'm visiting Pitoro town, which has been totally drowned. And yesterday I had a visit of the Kunri Tehsil, and I had gone to all those places which have been deserted and have been destroyed. And I don't know how to express. I just heard my two friends, speaking and taking the names of the districts, and I felt so hurt, and it's so unfortunate that they did not mention district Umarkot. I just want to tell them one thing. We unfortunately only got 9 escape these boats. 5 we arranged privately and 4 by the army. And these both rescue teams have evacuated number of people in hundreds. But the police mobiles, for the first time, I will give credit to the police mobiles, the way they evacuated the people, and from the amount of water they evacuated, I think they are in thousands. And even today, I would request my friend and request your team to please just visit this district. I will show them at least minimum 200,000 people, 200,000 people just sleeping and sitting with their families and children under the sky. The entire the belt of the desert which connects my district, they are there. Now,
Mr. Talpur, tell me something. Why has the response been so lackluster from the government, both provincial and federal?
Yes. I took the initiative right in the beginning, you know, during the first rains, and I was lucky that Prime Minister of Pakistan was kind enough to visit Badin and then Tanu Muhammad Khan district, and then he also visited Mirpur Khas district, and he was very kind to also have an aerial view and just land for a while in Kunri, which had totally drowned and destroyed. And when he saw all that, he had passed certain directions and certain instructions. And let me tell you, very, very unfortunately, that those instructions and directions have not been carried out.
Not been carried out.
By the National Disaster Management Authority. Then when the second spell started, then again I came in contact with the Prime Minister. Twice I had some communication with him. And then his principal secretary spoke with me while I was here in my own district, in this constituency. And then the chairman, PMDA, spoke with me. And from that day till today, you know, this second spell, it's been 10 days to me. I've been in my constituency and in this district. Not even a single train, not even a single thing has come from the federal government. I've been appealing to them. And I'm also thankful to the Chief Minister that he came here and he went around, and you can inquire from the Chief Minister. I just took him to those all places where the people were there. I said, I want you to personally have a look. I said, the way the things have been narrated and the way the media is coming up with all this matters, it shows that as if nothing has happened. So when he saw himself,
I think we are very concerned, Mr. Talpur.
And honestly, let me tell you, and then at the end of the day, whatever he announced was just peanut. But even that peanut, when I shouted yesterday, even to the extent, I said, if I am a member of the parliament, if I can't deliver anything to the people of my constituency who are looking forward to me, and I am here from 10 days, shouting and shouting, and yet if I can't help them, then what is the necessary and need of me being a member of the parliament? I felt so sorry, but from last evening...
That is indeed a tale that strikes one to the core, Senator. What I am worried about here is that Nawab Yousaf Talpur, an MNA from the ruling Pakistan People's Party, he says that he is not being able to do the work, that he is not getting the help he needs. And he is an MNA who is actually working in his constituency. What about other areas where, unfortunately, MNAs may not have turned up in their constituencies or may not be able to? I mean, why do we need to have this kind of situation? Where is our organized response to emergencies?
Now, I think you put in very well that why it is happening and what we are watching through the media. And I have all respect for Nawab Saab. And when he said that we, his friends, didn't mention about the Overcourt, actually those names, if you start, there will be so many other rural areas and villages where
it's from Mitti to Umarkot. I mean, it's all of Sindh, really.
So we skip this, but skip his name. But I mentioned about Nawab Saab, but I am saying now he is People's Party's stalwart, not an ordinary sort of just an MNA. Yeah, he is well respected, and I am sure he is being listened, and his grudges, his grievances are the grievances of the southern Sindh.
Well, this is the issue. He just said that the National Disaster Management Authority is not carrying out the Prime Minister's orders. What's going on here? So
I think somebody has to be made accountable, and somebody must be asked these questions, that why it is happening. And unfortunately, what I feel still, I feel that there is lack of this managerial expertise and skills to make a coordinated effort. They should have. Now, I was seeing last evening Mr. Edi's, some program he was doing, and he was telling that I have asked my people to bring in the food as much as they can and start preparing and this and that. Even the individual, it means that the government